Welcome to the CPM Customer Success Podcast, where we help Office of Finance leaders enable an exact solution to enhance their corporate performance without spending countless nights and weekends in the office. Hi, I'm your host, Andy Smetana from Nova Advisory. Nova Advisory is a 100% OneStream professional services diamond implementation partner. We help OneStream customers and prospective OneStream customers get the most out of their OneStream investments. For CPM Customer Success listeners, we now have a weekly email newsletter to keep you informed on the latest CPM Customer Success news. By subscribing today, we'll keep you informed on episode releases, including customer success stories, OneStream interviews, and capabilities to keep you up to date about OneStream's unified platform for finance. You can check that out now at Nova Advisory's website, novaadvisory.com/podcast, and subscribe to the CPM Customer Success Podcast newsletter today.
Technology companies are built around change, and finance has to keep pace with all of it. That becomes difficult when financial information is spread across disconnected systems. In today's industry-focused episode, we'll be talking through the story of how OneStream itself used its own financial platform to support its internal finance transformation. The challenges facing technology finance teams often extend beyond their traditional close. Finance may be asked whether a new product will be profitable before the company has much historical information. Leadership may want to understand how a pricing decision will affect their margins. The business may also need to reconsider its forecast after customer demand changes unexpectedly. Profitability can present another industry-specific challenge. A technology company may generate strong revenue from a product while the cost of supporting it continues to increase. The full cost may not be visible to the general ledger alone. Finance may need to connect the financial result with information about how customers are using the product. For a software company, cloud infrastructure costs can be particularly important. An increase in customer activity may lead to higher hosting costs. That doesn't necessarily mean the product is becoming more profitable at the same rate. Finance needs enough detail to see how the cost is changing over time. It also needs to understand whether that change is consistent with the business model. OneStream provides an exceptionally useful technology industry example through its own internal finance transformation. As the company expanded internationally, its finance environment needed to support rapid growth. OneStream had upgraded from QuickBooks to Sage Intacct, but reporting and planning still relied heavily on Excel. The process was highly manual. Multiple data sources could also produce different versions of the same number. That created a serious concern when finance was preparing information for executives, board members, or investors. The company needed confidence that the information it was presenting was accurate and controlled. OneStream was already being used for parts of consolidation and financial planning. The internal finance team decided to take a more complete approach. The company rebuilt the application so that the close, reporting, planning, and operational analysis could all work together. The implementation began with the financial close. It then expanded as the needs of the business evolved. OneStream connected the platform with Sage Intacct. It also integrated information from Salesforce and the company's human resources system. That allowed finance to connect financial results with commercial activity and workforce planning. OneStream began using the platform to support sales forecasting and operational performance tracking. The company brought in information related to customer contracts and retention. It also incorporated customer support measures and data about its cloud operations. Finance could view those drivers alongside the financial results rather than reviewing them through separate processes. Planning became more connected as well. The company built a 5-year strategic plan within OneStream. Finance could manage the annual budget and update the forecast throughout the year. The team used several forecast structures depending on where it was in the planning cycle. This gave finance a consistent environment for adjusting its assumptions as the business changed. The company was also operating across 8 currencies. Its international growth created a significant amount of intercompany activity. Finance needed to understand how currency changes affected customer contracts and financial performance. By bringing contract information into OneStream, the team could review those impacts more easily. So understanding the cloud costs. The cloud cost example is one of the most relevant part of OneStream's internal story for software companies. OneStream was managing its cloud spending and other IT operational measures within the platform. The company also connected its OneStream application directly with Microsoft Azure to retrieve granular use data. That gave finance a more detailed view of how cloud activity was changing across products and customers. This detail helped the company identify an issue with the way its cloud environment was being ramped up. The actual cost pattern was not aligning with the business model. The sudden increase had been difficult to identify through manual spreadsheet tracking. Once this information was available in OneStream, finance could see the change and investigate it more quickly. The company used Analytic Blend and specialized planning cubes to examine the Azure information. This allowed finance to work with detailed usage data without treating it as separate analytics outside the financial platform. For another software company, the exact data source may be different. The underlying principle remains the same, though. Finance needs to connect the cost of delivering a technology product with the financial performance of that product. Without that connection, margin pressure may remain hidden until it becomes a much larger problem. The transformation produced significant improvements for OneStream's finance team. The company reduced its monthly close from 24 days to 8 days. Finance could begin reviewing results with the CFO by the 6th day. The full financial statements were then completed by day 8. The company also eliminated several manually maintained worksheets. Processes for headcount and billing information became more systematic. GAAP to non-GAAP reporting was automated within the platform. Pre-built workbooks allowed finance to examine trends without repeatedly assembling the same reports by hand. OneStream estimated that continued growth would have required at least 2 additional finance employees without these process improvements. Instead of increasing staff simply to maintain manual reporting, the company created a more scalable environment. Finance gained better visibility and could support more agile decision-making as the organization grew. This story also shows that the platform did not remain static. OneStream continued developing its internal roadmap. Future priorities included account reconciliations and task manager. Finance also wanted to bring cash forecasting into the platform and create more executive dashboards. The larger goal was to provide one view of the company's performance across finance and the broader business. So in closing, OneStream's own story shows what can happen when a technology company connects its financial and operational information within one platform. The company began with many of the challenges other growing businesses face. Reporting relied heavily on manual processes. Different sources could produce different versions of the same number. Finance also needed a clearer understanding of the operational activity behind the financial results. By expanding its use of the OneStream platform, the company created a more connected finance environment. The monthly close was reduced from 24 days to 8 days. Finance could begin reviewing results with the CFO by the 6th day, giving leadership access to reliable information much sooner. OneStream also moved several processes out of spreadsheets into a more controlled system. As the company continued to grow, finance was able to support the increased reporting requirements without adding staff at the same pace. The cloud cost example shows the broader value of this approach. By connecting detailed Azure usage data with the financial environment, finance gained a clearer view of how cloud activity was affecting costs. The team could identify an unexpected change that had been difficult to see through manual spreadsheet tracking. That insight allowed finance to investigate the issue earlier and better understand whether costs were developing in line with the company's business model. For technology companies, this is an important distinction. Finance needs more than an accurate final number. The team also needs to understand what's driving that number and whether the underlying trend is likely to continue. OneStream's story demonstrates how a financial platform can begin with close and reporting, then expand as the organization asks more sophisticated questions. The platform supported planning and workforce analysis. It connected financial performance with sales activity and customer information. It also gave finance a more detailed view of the cost of delivering a cloud-based product. The internal roadmap continued to evolve as the company identified new opportunities for improvement. That's an important lesson for other technology organizations. A finance transformation doesn't need to solve every challenge in its first phase. It can begin with the business process creating the greatest limitation today. The organization can then expand from that trusted foundation as its business and decision-making needs evolve. OneStream's internal transformation shows how addressing those immediate challenges can create something larger. Finance can become more efficient and controlled. It can also become more connected to the business and better prepared to guide its next stage of growth.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of CPM Customer Success. Reminder to check out the CPM Customer Success weekly email newsletter to stay informed of the latest CPM Customer Success episodes and OneStream news. You can check that out now at the Nova Advisory website, novaadvisory.com/podcast, and subscribe to the CPM Customer Success Podcast email newsletter today. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next week for another episode of CPM Customer Success.